Alright, it's Chris. This is my artist YouTube channel. So subscribe if you like vlogs about art, life, whatever. So I wanted to talk about dealing with money as an artist, which is often quite difficult. So this is my little coin jar, just changing up. But I think generally speaking, I'll state my position. This is going to be an authentic vlog, so whatever. I have debts. I am currently trying to manage them. I find it. I actually got a bit of a chip on my shoulder. I think entire financial systems creates debt, but it's not just because of that. Also, I have been trying to improve my ways of managing my own money. But essentially, the entire financial system relies on debt existing, of course. I think in a lot of ways the banks, all banking systems come from the Knights Templar. But anyway, so we've got for Christianity to thank for banks. Fucking thank you, Christ. Anyway, where to from here? Thank you, Christ, for dying. That's what I should say, really. Did he ever live? I don't know. Who cares? Right, where am I going on to now? So money obviously exists. I mean, it's fortunately, well, not so much at this point, but in terms of human beings have always exchanged one thing for another. Any system has a method of exchange, or generally speaking, any system in the broader sense of the word, like has, I'll give you this, you give me that. So it's like this, that. Like if I had a glass. Oh, I need a pen. I'll swap you that pen for the glue. It's just like that. That would be easy. That's the older. Obviously, that's like probably, I suppose you could argue that was a early mode of exchange, right? But now obviously we have institutions, our favourite friend in the world, institutions, which are basically just, I would call institutions towers. Towers is the human beings have built up to consolidate certain hierarchies, right? That's literally what they are. And all of these towers, well, let's just do a tower babble reference, I suppose, why not, require resources, obviously, labour, and there needs to be money to pay for all that labour, right? Building up. I'm just riffing, but I don't know. What can I say? Do I have a point? I don't know. Obviously, I found as an artist, look at this point in time, I find myself frustrated because, not with my actual work, I'm doing more than ever, but age-old thing, like, how do I sell it? How do I get it to people? Like, I've got a show coming up, which is good. And I do sell occasionally, but I don't know. So I think sometimes I can't be bothered with this world. It's annoying. I hate this world. I hate working in this system that we have in our world. I find like I don't fit in anywhere. I don't, and like a lot of my work is. I think I'm perceived as a lazy person, but I'm not. Like literally for the last. I've been up for like 2 days working non-stop, and I slept a bit, but I have periods of such intensive activity that it doesn't fit into the 9 to 5 Monday to Friday world, unfortunately. So because of this, like I am this fierce, real good individualist, not industrialist, fucking hell. But yeah, like I'm so I don't fit into a conventional time. Look, it's like what, like half 20 past 12 now, and I'm just really after like having my 8 hours sleep. Just now I'm preparing for my shift, which is a night shift, obviously, and I'm just working. Literally working in my studio where I live. And the annoying thing about institutions as well, is that like say an institution like I don't know, the tax office. Like, so technically speaking, I have a business, right? But the tax office is like, you can't have a residential and a business in the same building. These people are bureaucrats. These people are mediocrities. These are mediocre people. But this is what institutions are. Institutions are the rule of the mediocre, essentially. So the institutions of power are just, like I said, institutions and power structures imposed by mediocrities. Same goes for corporate offices and corporate power as well. Again, think of a business. You got CEOs at the top. What do? They just sit around making decisions all day. You have, like I said, view it actually like an actual skyscraper, right? You've got CEOs at the top that just literally sit at a desk and make decisions. Sometimes those decisions are important, fair enough, but essentially they're just CEO and directors just make business decisions. All the middle management just, I don't know, just the general admin functions. Everybody at the bottom is probably actually keeping things running, generally speaking. Obviously, the Marxist perspective would be, well, let's reverse that. So instead of, the administration class, the people down below who are actually doing the physical labour and actually doing and also the mental work, the engineering work, the plumbing, whatever, actually have control. And yeah, I think just now, I think I'm not like preaching Marxism or anything. Like Marxism is it's not orthodox practice. It's a system of thinking. It's a way of thinking. It comes from roots back from Hegel, who I've not read, but I've never really been able to tackle that. But Marx's basic dialectics comes from Hegel, as far as I'm aware. I read Marx ages ago. I read the Communist Manifesto. So I read a lot of Engels as well. Well, some Engels, but anyway, where am I going with this? Our current economic system relies on, you're basically just trapped from the day you come into this world. And in terms of the economic system, you are trapped. You're trapped in a debt trap. When I went to study at university, the only way I could study at university was to get a student loan. I think it's 10 grand. I don't know, nowhere near paying it off. In terms of, I don't know, work, I've done all right, but rent prices in London were so extortionate. Have been so extortionate for so long that I just lived in the crappiest parts of London, really, which is fine. I don't mind living in crappy areas, whatever. That's what I've done most of my adult life. Literally, I just go to. I don't care. I'm not bothered. In many respects, so I come from a sort of working middle class background. I'd say. Both my parents are from pretty much working class background. My mum's from more of a middle class background. My dad is solid working class man, basically. I left school at 16 and all that. But yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. And it feels like, in terms of trying to get out of debt, I keep on going around in a spiral, and it isn't a bit of a spiral. I'm just trying to, and I'm almost I feel like I've just I have it again. Like I said, I have a fierce individualism. I'm an artist. I'm not going to give up on doing that. Society will try and constantly crush you out of doing that, but sometimes it's actually good to walk the harder path. And if you actually do that, you're an artist. I think essentially, I'm not defining who artists can be many different things, many different types of artists, but I think essentially, if you're going to be a good artist, then you have to constantly do what you feel is going to benefit your art. Okay, maybe it's a bit selfish, but that is why you're a unique individual if you're an artist. Because, or, you know, a unique individual who's making unique work because you're focused on the work. Everything else is secondary. And it might sound cold-hearted, but that's got to be the way it is, like, you know. And yeah, and you know, being a creative, like being a sort of like, you know, creative hyper-intellectual, as it were, does mean that you lose. You can find it harder to focus on other things, right? Like I found for myself that, yeah, I'm clever, yeah, I'm creative. There's actually, do you know what? This is crazy. So I know that Myers-Briggs typology is a bit, you know, bad. It's not bad, but it's like it's outdated in a lot of ways. But say for example, my type. So I am an INTP, introverted thinking, introverted, intuitive thinking, perceiving. Right. So basically, gathering information, creatively making something new out of it. That's basically the key function of the wizard or the architect or whatever, you know, as it's called in the Myers-Briggs systems. Most intelligent type, in general, as a general, they are the hyper intellectuals. They are hyper intellectual, like as a general, like you know, tests and IQs from what I've read about this. So the most intellectual type, lowest earners. So the cleverest people are the lowest earners, according to some. Obviously, it's that you can't just rely on one test, but like in assuming that statistical data is correct, that means that the people with the most smarts are often at the lowest earning level, which is sort of weird when you think about it. I mean, obviously, like work is about more than just intelligence. You can have intelligence work, and look, I have worked a lot in knowledge work, programming and stuff. Oh, no, look, I've not done too bad, but I think knowledge workers are sort of like in the model world are still the ones below here. They're still the ones down below. Middle management is just a bunch of boomers, basically, and then the CEOs are basically, I don't know, what do you say? Just guys who take a lot of cocaine and talk a lot of shit, really. That's literally it. So let's do a bit of, I don't know, whatever, fucking random philosophical shit. Most of the people below will, in terms of a community, will just help each other out. The working class, right? The working class will help each other out. They will, you know, spend time with each other and get to know each other personally a bit outside of work if they need to, if they like the other person. And obviously, like you can't always like everyone, it's impossible, but you know, they're just working class people. They help each other out, they do what they need to do. Middle management types, it's more about connections, it's more of LinkedIn. It's more about who do you know, and you know what how big is your network. CEOs, obviously, just it's primarily men, driven by hyper-competitive behaviours, impulsiveness. There's more psychopaths and sociopaths in this who are CEOs actually. So these are just more likely to be people who, are just basically not. I'm not saying all people who work for have their own company or a CEO or psychopaths. That's ridiculous. But they're just more ruthless. They're more ruthless as individuals, more black and white. And obviously, there can be good directors and CEOs, and you know, there can be good people who run companies. I'm not saying that all people who run companies are bad. That would be ridiculous. But I think, what do I think? So, do we need bosses? I wouldn't even put it as bosses. I'd use a different term. So, I do like this model of like cooperative. I mean, I've set up cooperatives myself. I like the idea that, and this is how actual like cooperatives work. Basically, you just have a meeting every month and make decisions a month ahead of schedule. It works perfectly fine. Like I run this artist studio where we did that. That's still running to this day. yes, it does mean that there are disagreements and there's everything else, but it means that everybody's voice gets heard. That's literally what socialism is, basically. So, say for example, and like I'm not saying this is a say for example you have so let me just try and template out a system for a sort of modern eco-socialism or something, I don't know, or like we need to have that green tech socialism sort of revolution soon, if possible. So essentially, in a green tech eco-socialism, there would be businesses that could be set up by groups of people. This is a sort of like so if I recall, like the early Soviet Union, the Soviets were basically the councils of workers. So that's what literally a Soviet is. A Soviet is just a workers' council. What went wrong in the Russian Revolution is that there was a consolidation of power to the central state, which comes from Lenin. I think he writes about this in State and Revolution, which I've never really got that far through, but I don't really want to read Lenin. I'm not a fan of Lenin particularly. He had rousing speeches, but also, he was Lenin. So we don't have to return back to the Soviet Union all the time. I think it's Marxist. We just have to. I'm just like trying to cover that because why not? Anyway, I need to get to my point. So obviously, in the system we have now, we have an economic system that is driven by, commerce, internet. It's more virtual. It's definitely more virtual with elements of, just like distribution via like people at the bottom who just get paid not very much and just have to ride around on a bike or whatever, or a car and just deliver pizzas and stuff. But if there is the main principal key problem with the economy and the world in general at the minute is that vast hoarding of wealth, obviously. So you've got, I like to think of them as dragons, like people at the top, billionaire, multi-billion, like nobody needs a billion dollars, whatever the fuck. It just becomes meaningless at that point. And I think that was one of the problems, basically, is that money is essentially, it's come to be once money gets to a certain value, it just becomes meaningless. So we live in an unfair society where I'm not going to become a victim here. Like, I've made bad decisions. I've made bad financial decisions in the past. I'm not like the best at saving and all that. I tend to be quite impulsive, but not too bad. I tend to be a high risk taker, right? In terms of investing in ideas. That's the sort of main thing that I'm risk taking in. It's just investing in my creativity. That's the main thing that I'm highly risk taking in. And you have to be, because what's the point if you're not gonna taking a life, being an artist is a risk. The life of an artist is a risk, and you take that risk, and you take it again, and you take it, and you take it, and you take it. And if other people aren't on for the ride, or if other people find this annoying, then whatever. Just don't take it personally. Just fucking get on with it. Do it. Work. And actually, I need to work now. I need to go to work. I got a bunch of paintings I need to prepare for a show next week, so I need to get onto that because I need to start painting the black paint around the sides of the frame, the sides of the paintings, basically. Anyway, long rambling log. There's probably a few threads of interesting thought in there. Obviously, I've definitely modelled a lot of economic stuff, but I'm not an economist. I feel scarce reading this stuff. I just thought it would be quite interesting to think aloud for a few minutes, or 20 minutes now. I guess I'll call this funny philosophy. I've not done a funny philosophy for ages. It's called a debt-ridden artist or something. Like and subscribe if you like the channel. I'll probably do more funny philosophies again. I think they are quite funny. Anyway, if you're in debt, I hope you get out of it, and I hope I do as well. I just need to get some paid work coming in next, whenever I can, basically. Poor as fuck. Oh, yeah, donate if you want as well, actually. Just put my PayPal below. I don't know, whatever. Just if you want to donate money. Oh, actually, I'll put the alienrabbit.co.uk. Alien Rabbit's my business for game dev and art and basically all my art stuff and other people's. Anyway, bye.